I am the child of Southern Baptist Black community activists who were very connected to the church. My family was from Huntsville, Alabama, and we moved to Northern Virginia when I was about 4. And my family there started to set up a network there that was very connected to the Black church. So Jesus has always been a part of my story, and always been a part of, I've always known who Jesus was and kind of his role in my family and my larger community, and then in the African American culture. And so I think that, it's just never been a question about whether or not I would go to church and whether or not I would know God and know Jesus. But, sometimes as the old folks say, when did you get to know him for yourself? I would say that I got to know him probably in my early 20s for myself, and really felt like that was the first time I experienced kind of faith and the presence of Jesus. My mother died suddenly at the age of 62 in 2006. And she died kind of on the heels of my grandmother dying. And they both were very influential in my life. I grew up in an intergenerational home where I grew up and was raised by my parents and my grandmother. And so my grandmother and my mother died within 13 months of each other. Both of those deaths were really challenging, but the mother-daughter death was a little bit more of just a severe wound. For me, it around the 5-year mark, the grief process just kind of got stuck for me. So between 2006 and 2011, I was, had kind of intellectually processed, that she's not physically here, and was able to go through the day-to-day. And my dad had gotten remarried, and everyone, we were all moving on, and life was just kind of going along. But there was just still this piece of this hole of just kind of a kind of excavated grief that I was carrying around. In 2011, I had the opportunity to go on a yoga retreat. I remember before I went that God clearly told me that I was going to be, he would meet me there, and I would be able to kind of process this grief when I got there. That week really taught me some tools and some processes and some practices, which is what I really used yoga to do. To really help me process some difficult emotions. I remember reflecting on that whole experience, and I just had this overwhelming sense and knowing that Jesus just loved me so much that he met me there, and all of the different ways in which he met me there, that he performed these miracles that were just for me, and that was one of the times that I really felt his presence and felt really embraced by Jesus. My husband and I are not able to have children biologically, and we have been dealing with infertility, for about 10 years now. And so in 2012, we decided that we would, become a little bit more aggressive, and we're going to undergo some fertility treatments. And I had to go into the doctor's office the day before the actual treatment. I left that doctor's appointment unsure of what was even going to happen the next day. And this happened to be a Tuesday, which is the day that our community group met, which is Club Mimosa. And so when we got to community group that night, when I look back at it, I'm like, we just hijacked the night. And the families in that group, the Nasmiths and the Andersons and the Laniers just kind of held space for us in a way that was truly incredible, in a way that we didn't even know we needed. And we, they didn't try to offer solutions or try to offer, rationale for whatever. They just listened and just held us through that. What I learned then was that we weren't alone, and that we had we had community, and we had that community through Christ Central Church. There's not something, I guess, like big out there that I'm waiting for him to come through on. I mean, even in the adoption, I knew that he was in control, and that he had our back, and that he was going to deliver a baby to us. I didn't know how, in what way. Where I'm still struggling, I guess, is just the day-to-day, minutia of things, and where I'm wanting to exert control, and where I think I'm in control, and where I'm not, I'm crowding out God to not let him be in control.